Hi, welcome to Word Insight. God has been good and faithful to us, as I am sure that He has been good and faithful to each and every one of you tuning into this program. God is good. Welcome once again to Word Insight, and we'll be continuing with our topic. I know by now maybe you are getting tired, but don't be. We'll be continuing with our topic, God's timing. I told you it was going to be a long haul. But don't worry, never mind, we'll soon round it up. We are on the second second character that we want to discuss with, which is Mordecai. In the last video, I was talking about how he probably had even forgotten that he did the king a favor. But God never forgets. God never forgets our labor of love. It's there in the Bible. Whatever we do does not go unnoticed or unrecognized by God. Maybe we may not get the reward immediately, but eventually we will get it. And this is what happened with Mordecai. Mordecai did what he was supposed to do, and he moved on with his life. He did not even dwell on it. Many of us would be so angry with the king that we might even begin to start gossiping about him. You understand? And start saying stuff about him that the king was not a person of honor. Because during those times, it is expected that when someone spares your life, they have to be rewarded. Whenever anybody does anything to the king or to anyone in authority, the person had to be acknowledged and rewarded. But Mordecai was not. But he did not lay this to heart. He still went about his business. And when the time came for God to glorify him, to reward him, it was huge. And God did not just reward him. He also spared his life in the process. Because the person that was supposed to kill him or to recommend him for death was also the same person that was used to glorify him. Imagine your enemy going about telling people how wonderful you are and proclaiming it to the whole world. You understand? That kind of pride that you will feel in your heart, knowing fully well that this person hates me, and yet he could not escape that humiliation. I'm talking about Haman. He couldn't escape the humiliation of being the one to talk about how great Mordecai was. The same person that was plotting his death was the same person that God used to honor him. That is just how huge. I want us to not just see the reward that I got. I want us to see the way God worked it. Just the way God arranged everything. You understand? That is this God that we serve. That's why I always tell people, in His time, He has made everything beautiful. At the moment, you may be feeling a little bit down and be feeling, despite all I am doing, despite all my effort, despite everything that I have done for people or for God even. Maybe you are a worker in the church and you have given your all, and yet you are not seeing any results, and it feels as if the whole world is against you. Don't give up. Don't think that God has forgotten about you. God does not forget. God doesn't forget. I'm sure that He has a grand plan for you that will blow your own mind. And at the end of the day, you will be like, wow, so this is what God has been planning for me all along. So just hang in there. Just keep the faith and keep doing what you feel is right in your heart to do. Don't give up. Don't give up the good work you're doing. It may be your business that you have been toiling and doing what you're supposed to do, but yet you're not seeing results. Just wait your time. Your time will definitely come. The time that God has appointed to bless you will come. If I tell you my story, you will wonder how I am still able to stand even till now. But maybe someday I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, but not today. We'll continue. We have to stick to the Bible characters. So I hope that you are blessed by the story of Mordecai. And yes, I'll be moving on to our last character, who happens to be Joseph. Joseph. Joseph was an enigma, a very, 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 very unique character in the Bible. Very unique. And I don't want us to take too long on him. I will just talk about the ordeals, the trials that he went through before the time came and God glorified him. Do you know what is funny about life? What is funny about life is that when we are going through stuff, we feel like the whole world, I mean, you are not doing what the world is doing. You are not following in the world's footsteps, but you are sticking to God. It can be really painful. It can be really, really, you know, really depressing and frustrating. You know, that's how we feel at that moment. But the funny part of it and the ridiculous part of the whole thing is that when the tide turns and the situation changes and everything starts working for us, we forget all about all those painful periods that we went through. And sometimes we'll be like, did I really go through that? That is how pleasant the blessing of God is. There's a saying, it says that we suffer more in our mind than what is actually happening around us. The situation that we're going through, sometimes if we really just put it aside and think on the positive aspect of that situation, we realize that it is not that big, it is not that huge, it is not something that we can't bear. But because we dwell too much on that problem, that's all we think about. We start, and the devil is a very, very cunning person. We start imagining some scenario, and then we start feeling depressed because of those situations. But I assure you, it is not all that bad, especially when you look at it from the positive side. So people will say there is no positive to poverty, there is no positive to lackness. Of course, maybe there isn't, but really, have you really thought about it? There is nothing in this life that has no positive side, that has no disadvantage and advantage. Everything always have a disadvantage and an advantage. All we just need to do is think on the good part of it. Nothing is as bad as it seems. Look at the good part of it. Whatever you are going through today, don't look at the bad side, look at the good side. And always have this resolution in your heart that it is just for a little while. It will blow over. It will definitely blow over. And when it does, you may not even remember the pain of that period anymore. You may not remember it. You won't even remember it. It will be like it was happening to somebody else and that you were just watching a film. That's how it is. That's how it will be. So, during Joseph's period, it was difficult for him because it was like everything he was doing, all the good decisions that he thought he was making were going against him. But God had a better and a major plan for him. I would like to stop here for now. I urge us to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is in my bio on my TikTok account. You can also follow us on our TikTok account. You can like